Welcome to our deep dive into the hidden Jewish history of Gaza. Today we'll uncover 10 surprising facts that reveal the rich and complex relationship between Jews and this ancient region. You see, when we explore the universe, we often find the most captivating stories, not in the distant galaxies, but right here on Earth, woven into the fabric of human history. Gaza, a land steeped in ancient tales and modern conflicts, holds a unique place in this narrative. Get ready to journey through time. From the era of biblical giants to the rise and fall of empires, as we uncover the indelible mark left by Jewish communities on this often misunderstood corner of the world. Our story begins millennia ago after the Israelites led by Joshua conquered Canaan. The land was divided amongst the 12 tribes, and guess what? Gaza, a strategic coastal city, fell within the territory allocated to the tribe of Judah. Now, you might be thinking, Judah? Isn't that where Jerusalem is? You're absolutely right. This tells us that from the get-go, Gaza was considered part of the same cultural and geographical sphere as the future capital of the Jewish kingdom. But hold on, it wasn't a simple inheritance. The land was already inhabited by the Philistines, a group with a distinct culture and, let's just say, a bit of a rivalry with the Israelites. Think David and Goliath, that kind of rivalry. This allocation of Gaza to the tribe of Judah set the stage for centuries of interaction, conflict, and even cultural exchange between the Israelites and the Philistines. It's like the initial conditions in the universe. This single event ripples through time, shaping the future of the region. So we've got this prime real estate fought over by two distinct groups. What happens next? Well, that's where our story gets even more interesting. Imagine Gaza as this bustling port city, a melting pot of trade and cultures, ruled by the Philistines. These were people of the sea, known for their ironworking skills, a big deal back then, and their distinct gods like Dagon. Now, the Israelites settling into their newly acquired land were a pastoral people deeply rooted in their monotheistic beliefs and laws brought forth by Moses. You can see how this might lead to some, shall we say, cultural differences. The Philistines, with their city-states and warrior culture, often clashed with the Israelites, who were striving to establish a unified kingdom under a single god. Think of it like two cosmic forces, each with its own gravitational pull, constantly interacting and sometimes colliding. This tension, this push and pull between two distinct cultures, is at the heart of Gaza's early history. It's a story of adaptation, conflict, and the constant struggle for dominance. And what better example of this struggle than the epic tale of Samson and Delilah, a story forever intertwined with the fate of Gaza. We all love a good story, and the tale of Samson and Delilah is a classic for a reason. It's a story of love, betrayal, and ultimately destruction, all set against the backdrop of Gaza. Samson, an Israelite judge blessed with superhuman strength, becomes entangled with Delilah, a Philistine woman who, let's just say, has her own agenda. You know how it goes, love makes you do crazy things, even if you're a seemingly invincible warrior. Delilah, persuaded by the Philistine rulers, tricks Samson into revealing the source of his strength, his hair. With Samson shorn of his power, the Philistines capture and blind him, bringing him to Gaza as a trophy. But the story doesn't end there. Samson, in a final act of defiance, brings down the pillars of the temple of Dagon, the Philistine god, killing himself and a multitude of Philistines. Talk about going out with a bang. This tragic tale, passed down through generations, cemented Gaza's place in Jewish consciousness. It's a stark reminder of the conflict, the passion, and the high stakes that define the relationship between the Israelites and the Philistines. Fast forward a few centuries, and we arrive at the time of the Hanukkah story. You know, the one with the Maccabees, the oil that lasted 8 days, all that. Well, Gaza plays a role in that story too. Around the 2nd century BCE, the land of Israel was under the control of the Seleucid Empire, a Greek successor state to Alexander the Great. The Seleucids, trying to impose their Hellenistic culture, outlawed Jewish practices, leading to a revolt led by the Maccabees, a priestly family. Now remember how Gaza was this important city strategically located on the trade routes? Well, the Maccabees knew that to control the land, they needed to control Gaza. And control it they did. Under the leadership of Judah Maccabee and later his brother Simon, the Jewish forces captured Gaza, expelling the Seleucid garrison and bringing the city under Hasmonean rule. That's right, the same Hasmonean dynasty from the Hanukkah story. This victory was a turning point. It marked the resurgence of Jewish independence and the expansion of the Hasmonean kingdom, with Gaza once again becoming a part of a Jewish-ruled entity. Now let's fast forward again to the Middle Ages. Gaza, after centuries of Roman and then Byzantine rule, was conquered by the Arabs in the 7th century CE. A new chapter in its history began, with Islam becoming the dominant religion. The great Mosque of Gaza, a prominent landmark in the city, stands as a testament to this era. But here's the fascinating part. Within its very structure, we find echoes of Gaza's Jewish past. During renovations in the 13th century under the Mamluk Sultanate, Jewish symbols, including a menorah and inscriptions in Hebrew, were incorporated into the mosque's design. How did this happen? Well, some historians believe that the Mamluks, known for their architectural prowess, repurposed materials from older structures, possibly a synagogue that stood on the same site. Imagine, Jewish symbols, once part of a house of worship, now integrated into a mosque. This unexpected discovery speaks to the layers of history embedded within Gaza. It's a tangible reminder of the Jewish community that once thrived in the city, their presence still felt centuries later. The story of Jewish Gaza isn't just about conquests and empires, it's also about the cultural and spiritual contributions that echoed far beyond its borders. And that brings us to the 16th century and the story of Rabbi Yisrael Najara. Rabbi Najara, a renowned Kabbalist, poet and composer, found himself drawn to Gaza. Imagine him, this spiritual seeker, finding inspiration in the ancient city that had witnessed the ebb and flow of empires and religions. It was in Gaza that Rabbi Najara penned one of his most famous liturgical poems, Ka Ribon Olam, thus Master of the Universe. This beautiful hymn, expressing gratitude for the Sabbath, became a staple in Jewish communities worldwide. Think about it. A song composed in Gaza, a city often associated with conflict, became a hymn of peace and tranquility, sung by Jews every week as they welcomed the Sabbath. It's a testament to the enduring power of faith and creativity, even in the face of adversity. Rabbi Najara's story, like the Jewish symbols embedded in the Great Mosque, reminds us that Gaza's Jewish history is not just about physical presence, but also about the enduring legacy of its cultural and spiritual contributions. By the early 20th century, the Jewish community in Gaza, though small, continued to exist amidst a larger Arab population. However, the rise of nationalism and political tensions cast a long shadow over the region. In 1929, these tensions erupted into violence. Fueled by rumors and inflammatory rhetoric, riots targeting Jews broke out in Hebron, Jerusalem, Safed, Yaffo, and tragically, Gaza. The Jewish community in Gaza, caught in the crossfire, faced terrifying attacks. Homes were ransacked, businesses destroyed, and innocent lives lost. The violence left an indelible scar on the community, shattering the fragile peace that had existed. In the aftermath of the riots, British authorities, then controlling Palestine, made a fateful decision. They evacuated the remaining Jews from Gaza for their own safety, marking the first time in centuries that the city was left without a Jewish presence. The 1929 pogroms stand as a stark reminder of the fragility of coexistence and the devastating consequences of unchecked hatred and violence. It's a dark chapter in Gaza's history, one that continues to resonate with pain and sorrow. Despite the trauma of 1929, the dream of a Jewish presence in Gaza did not die. In the 1940s, amidst the turmoil of World War II and the growing movement for Jewish self-determination, a new chapter began. In 1946, a group of Zionist pioneers, driven by ideology and a deep connection to the land, established a kibbutz called Kfar Darom, just north of Gaza City. Imagine their courage, rebuilding in the shadow of past violence, determined to cultivate a future filled with hope. Kfar Darom, meaning village of the south, became a symbol of resilience and the enduring Jewish connection to the region. It represented a vision of peaceful coexistence, a place where Jews and Arabs could live and work together. However, the geopolitical realities of the time soon cast a long shadow on this hopeful endeavor. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War transformed the region, with Gaza coming under Egyptian control. The decades following the 1948 war were marked by conflict and instability. Gaza, now a densely populated territory under Egyptian and later Palestinian control, became a focal point of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. In 2005, Israel decided upon a unilateral disengagement from Gaza, withdrawing its military and dismantling all Jewish settlements, including Kfar Darom. This decision, while presented by some as a step towards peace, marked the end of a Jewish presence in Gaza after millennia. The images of Israelis leaving their homes, the synagogues being dismantled, are etched in the memory of many. It was a poignant reminder of the human cost of this long-standing conflict. With the disengagement, Gaza entered a new chapter, one marked by internal strife, the rise of Hamas, and continued violence. The dream of coexistence, once embodied by places like Kfar Darom, seemed further away than ever. The years since the disengagement have been a turbulent period for Gaza. The rise of Hamas, considered a terrorist organization by many countries, has led to increased violence and instability. Rocket attacks launched from Gaza towards Israeli civilian centers have become a grim reality, instilling fear and trauma in the lives of countless people. These attacks, often indiscriminate, target civilians and sow discord, pushing the hope for peace further out of reach. The consequences of this violence are devastating for both sides. Innocent lives are lost, families are torn apart, and the cycle of hatred and mistrust deepens. The situation in Gaza today is complex and heartbreaking. It's a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict and the urgent need for a peaceful resolution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the hidden Jewish history of Gaza. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating historical insights. From the ancient Israelites to Rabbi Najara's inspiring hymns, from the tragedy of the 1929 pogroms to the hope represented by Kfar Darom, we've seen how deeply intertwined Jewish history is with this small but significant piece of land. Understanding this complex past is crucial as we grapple with the realities of the present. By acknowledging the shared history and the deep-rooted connections, we can begin to foster empathy and understanding, paving the way for a more peaceful future.